It was supposed to be an ordinary evening. A young babysitter arrived at a quiet suburban home, a place she'd been to before. The couple who lived there were polite, but distant. They gave the same instructions as always. Put the children to bed by 8, no visitors, lock the doors, and above all, don't answer the landline after midnight. It sounded strange, but she brushed it off. Parents had odd rules sometimes. The house was too large, too silent, the kind of place where every creak feels like it has meaning. She distracted herself by watching TV, scrolling through her phone, occasionally checking on the children sleeping upstairs. Everything was calm, until the phone rang. She froze. It wasn't her cell, it was the old landline on the kitchen wall. She checked the time, 11:07 p.m. The parents hadn't mentioned any expected calls. Against her better judgment, she answered. Nothing. Just static. And then breathing. Heavy, deliberate breathing. She hung up, telling herself it was a prank. She even laughed nervously, though her heart was racing. But then, minutes later, the phone rang again. This time, a man's voice whispered, "Don't hang up." Her hand trembled. Who is this? No answer. Only silence. Then the faint sound of footsteps echoing, as if someone was walking across wooden floors. She slammed the phone down. Her first thought was to check the locks. Every door. Every window. She moved quickly, trying to convince herself it was just a sick joke. But when she reached the back door, she noticed something that made her blood run cold. The chain lock was unlatched. She was certain she had secured it earlier. She locked it again, forcing herself to breathe. Maybe she had just forgotten. Maybe. The phone rang once more. This time, her fear overpowered her hesitation. She answered, voice trembling. The man whispered, "You shouldn't have locked it." Her chest tightened. "Who are you? What do you want?" No response. Just the sound of slow, deliberate breathing. Then, the faint cry of a child. She dropped the receiver and ran upstairs, her legs shaking. She burst into the children's room, only to find them sleeping soundly, untouched, innocent. Her mind was spinning. The cry hadn't come from the children. It had come from the phone. Back downstairs, the silence felt heavier, almost suffocating. Every shadow seemed alive. She tried to call the parents' number from her cell, but it wouldn't connect. No signal. No explanation. The landline rang again. She didn't want to answer. Every instinct screamed not to. But something about the sound, it was hypnotic, like a command she couldn't resist. She lifted the receiver, her hands clammy. The voice whispered, "Go upstairs. Look at the window." Her knees went weak. Slowly, she crept back up, step by step, every creak of the staircase echoing like a gunshot in the silence. At the top floor, she turned toward the children's room. Their window overlooked the backyard. And then she saw it. A man, standing in the yard, motionless, staring directly at her. The phone slipped from her hand, hitting the floor. Her breathing quickened, panic flooding her veins. She darted into the children's room, pulling the curtains shut, clutching both kids as they stirred awake, confused and frightened. The landline rang again. She didn't want to answer, but she had to. Slowly, she picked it up. The whisper came, colder than before. "Why are you looking outside, when I'm already inside?" Her blood froze. She turned her head toward the hallway. The floorboards creaked. Someone was in the house. Her thoughts scrambled. She needed to hide. She needed to protect the children. Quietly, she ushered them into the closet, whispering for them not to make a sound. She pulled the door shut, crouched in the darkness, trying not to breathe too loudly. The house was no longer silent. Footsteps moved across the floor. Slow, calculated, purposeful. She could hear the intruder whispering to himself. The same words over and over. "I see you. I see you. I see you." She clutched the children tighter, praying he wouldn't find them. The footsteps grew closer. Stopped. Right outside the closet door. She bit her lip to keep from screaming. The children trembled silently against her. And then, the handle turned. She held her breath, preparing for the inevitable. But suddenly, the sound of a car pulling into the driveway cut through the tension. Headlights swept across the window. The parents were home. The footsteps retreated. Fast. The front door creaked open, then slammed shut. The babysitter waited, heart pounding, until she was sure the house was quiet again. Then she burst out of the closet, ran downstairs, and collapsed as the parents entered, confused at her hysterical state. She tried to explain. The phone calls, the man in the yard, the voice inside the house. But when the father checked the landline, something was wrong. The phone cord had been severed. The calls hadn't come from outside. They had come from inside the house. And the police never found anyone.